Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. I have with me the CEO and founder of LBRY. LBRY is a decentralized, censorship-resistant platform. We're going to be finding out about how LBRY is. I am, by the way, on LBRY, so you can follow me on LBRY and earn LBRY coins and send me LBRY coins and do all of that. Before I introduce him, please follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and also my Telegram channel, Crypto Rich Official, which is an announcement-only channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, shame on you. I post on BitTube and on LBRY before I post on YouTube. So you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing it a few days, maybe 1, 2, 3 days later. And this is because of YouTube's censorship and because of their shadow banning of me and other crypto influencers.
Bitcoin, the best money we've ever had. With a different kind of money comes a different kind of card. A metal card, powered by crypto. Every time you spend, you get 3% back instantly. Want more? We've got that too. Don't like fees? Neither do we. How about these perks? The future is here. Reserve yours now.
Hey, good evening, Jeremy.
Hey, it is great to be here with you, Rich. And I love the intro because anytime I hear that someone is publishing to YouTube second, that is what I want to hear. That is the official LBRY, pro-choice, pro-user respect position. Which is that if you believe that YouTube is not a great place to be, we're not saying get off. Okay, you got a heroin addiction, you don't go cold turkey. All right, but just start being responsible, recognize the problem, and start taking some steps. And one of those is to make sure you're posting on alternative platforms. And even better, the real responsible thing to do is to post on the alternative platform first.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you may not know, because this is the first time you and I have spoken. So in June last year, YouTube gave me a strike and deleted 86 of my videos. I've been doing my channel for 3 years, by the way.
Yeah.
And then in December, they gave me a strike, deleted another 80 odd videos, and then in January, a second strike. And I'm now like, okay, YouTube is my secondary platform.
Yeah.
They're banning me. I'm not getting the views I used to get. I don't count on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's outrageous. I mean, I honestly struggle at times. I don't like to get too conspiratorial. And actually, before we go too deep, Rich gave a great introduction, to LBRY. Even simpler one is, if we want to make YouTube possible, but we don't want Google to exist. Like we can unpack this the rest of the show in terms of how it works if we want to get into it. But like LBRY is designed to make the user experience of YouTube is pretty good, right? It's the policies that are bad. It's the random demonetization, the random bannings, and that's also, I'm going down like tangent after tangent here. That's part of what makes it the worst. Is this arbitrary, right? And so LBRY is designed from the ground up to make all of that stuff impossible, right? We're not trying to be at the forefront of innovation in terms of user experience. Truthfully, we crib from those guys to some extent, right? But what we want to do is make it so that LBRY as a company doesn't matter. Where our business proposition is, we've tied our hands behind our back, and so you can trust that we're not going to punch you, right? Like is sort of the simplistic explanation, yeah. And so I think that I think it's outrageous what they're doing. It's outrageous.
Do you know, I'm in Britain, and during the Brexit referendum, I voted Brexit. And what happened was I listened to lots and lots of different arguments for and against and everything, right? And in the end, I chose. And then what happened, a couple of years later, they changed the policy. So what came up was all the mainstream stuff about Brexit.
Yeah.
Then CNN, the BBC, Channel 4. I don't want to know that stuff. I know where to go to get that stuff.
Dude, and this is, just because I want to emphasize, like this is not conspiratorial stuff. Reclaim the Net, who does some of the best reporting in this area, put out they put out an article just less than a week ago of the CEO of YouTube explicitly saying that they not only, because I think it was kind of known that they prioritized mainstream sources. So but what she said was, not only do they prioritize mainstream sources, but that their data says users don't like it when they prioritize mainstream sources. That it hurts. Like that they do it anyway because they think it's important. And I'm just trying to imagine like what other business would behave in such a way that they know better than you in terms of what you want. Like the analogy that I gave is like right, you go to a burger restaurant.
Jeremy, I know the answer to that, right?
Yeah.
You and I aren't going to get a word in edgeways with each other. Fascistic, authoritarian business.
Sure, but like, there's part of us that should also think that that's like really weird, because what other business does, like, it's one thing I can get the like, oh, we don't, that, you know, I don't buy this argument. I want to be clear, the argument I'm about to make, but I can at least understand where they're coming from of like, we don't want this stuff. We don't like it. We don't want to be associated with it. Like, that's not how we're going to be, but I can like kind of get that. How you could be as a business and say like it's just like you're running a burger shop and someone comes in to get a hamburger and you're like, no, it's not good for you. You need to eat a salad. Like what? Like, that's just so weird. That like, that's a level that's just like above and beyond. Like, it's not like they're saying, oh, these people are putting out false information, so we're going to put a warning, or this guy was lying a lot, so we took his channel. Like, no, I don't like that stuff either. I want to be clear. I don't think they should try to be arbitrators of truth or whatever. But to say like, we know that our users don't like this and we do this to them anyway, that to me is somehow almost is almost even worse.
Hmm. Yeah, hopefully they'll go the way of Netscape and OO.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, our user numbers, if we can keep our growth up, it has been just shooting vertical with their latest behavior.
Right. Yeah, I bet. Because I'm in a Telegram group with about 160 odd crypto influencers, the real ones, not just 10-tone base or the real rates, right?
Yeah.
And now they're like, okay, we're fed up of YouTube censorship and shadow banning. Okay, well, let's look at the alternatives. Now, let's talk about, we could talk a lot about the censorship and stuff, right? But let's get into the nitty-gritty of LBRY. LBRY ICO'd in 2016, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And how much did you raise, or was it?
So yeah, we're pretty old school and different project. I think it's part of why we're actually having success is that like we were never in this for the honestly not to no disparagement intended. Part of the reason I'm even hesitant to do shows with the rich in the title is like this is about building something that works, right? Like we care about building a product that works. Part of the reason that I think it's important to be here and be on shows like this is just because crypto creators are so affected. Like you guys need this product. I don't go around hyping the token or talking about the token. We can get into how it works. I'm not trying to like hide any of that, but like we are about building something that allows people to create and share and monetize information in a way that isn't owned by or controlled by like one party or one company. And that is what we are about. And so we started as hackers. We did no ICO. We didn't raise a bunch of money. We did later raise some money from a VC, and we later raised money from some funds on the markets, from selling our tokens on the markets. But we did no ICO until the network was functional. We built a real network. Like some of these alternatives, while I think what they're trying to do is good, you can only use them through a website. That's not decentralized. You need a fully peer-to-peer product. LBRY built a fully peer-to-peer network before we built the web version. And that's actually, I think, part of why so many people think that we're new, is it took us several years to build a working decentralized network. And then we're like, oh, okay, now we'll try building the web version. We didn't build the web version first. You can't build Coinbase before you build Bitcoin. And so it took us years to build the Bitcoin version. And now, we said, okay, we'll build the Coinbase version too, which is LBRY.tv.
Okay, well, let me ask you a few basic questions. It's a proof of work coin. Yeah. So people can still mine it?
That's right, they can, yeah.
Okay, and GPU ASIC or?
So there are some, I believe they're actually ASICs. They may just be like pre-programmed FPGAs, but there are devices that exist on the markets. There's like a Baikal Super B or something that it's called. I believe there's one other one that I don't know the name of off the top of my head. So there are a couple of devices. And then so you can run those and participate in mining pools and various things. But yeah, it's a proof of work. It's proof of work coin. It started as a Bitcoin fork. From a technical perspective, LBRY is modified to have a parallel Merkle tree, which is the structure that Bitcoin uses internally to keep track of the outputs, like how it's being spent. We use the same structure, and the key property is that is supporting SPV wallets. So as thin wallets, this idea that we can have a wallet, we can have our coins locally, and not have to have a full copy of the blockchain. We wanted the same property for our clients in terms of their ability to look up content, to look up metadata about content, to search the network, to find what's on the network. And so we actually extended the Bitcoin model to add these other use cases. And that is how the project started. Was we forked Bitcoin to extend it because it's a very fundamental change. It's this entire parallel structure that doesn't exist in Bitcoin. So it's sort of all of that plus this other stuff. but we are not really marketing LBRY as like, it ends up being a token. It ends up having money like properties. We're not trying to get into the space of like digital cash, right? We are trying to use the token for this use case, which is digital content distribution. It's a huge use case, right? It's a $2 trillion a year market. There's a lot of money spent on this stuff, and we think there's a lot of potential in building a protocol that monetizes it. But we are specifically going after that segment.
Sure. Okay. Now I've got the decentralized. I've got the app, decentralized app, which I use with. It does it very, very fast. But the videos, where are they stored? Because my understanding is the blockchain. You can't put videos on the blockchain.
Yes, great. Yes, very, very insightful. Of course, you cannot put videos in the blockchain. So what we do, LBRY, maybe I'll tell a story of how it came to be, because it might help it click for people what it actually is. So I think people are familiar with BitTorrent or IPFS or other peer-to-peer data networks. LBRY data network works just like those, very, very similar. BitTorrent and IPFS, by the way, are like very similar. I think IPFS makes some improvements, but they're still fundamentally pretty similar technologies. And so LBRY is the same thing as those. And so what LBRY does is it takes a blockchain and uses that blockchain to provide a catalog of what's on the network, which doesn't exist in the case of BitTorrent or IPFS, right? We use it to add identity. Again, that doesn't exist. We use it to add payments, right? And we use it to add payments both for content and to do a kind of data market type thing. And so the data, so you can actually think of the LBRY network from a technical perspective as two separate decentralized networks that like talk to each other about some things, but they're operated somewhat separately. So you have a decentralized blockchain network and you have a decentralized data network. The blockchain network is quite similar to Bitcoin. The data network is quite similar to BitTorrent. For Throwback Thursday, actually, I'll pull out this line because we shared our oldest promotional video, the first one we ever made. You paid $300 for someone on like a gig site, kind of to make it. It says, if BitTorrent and Bitcoin had a baby, that was our original slogan going back to in 2016. And so that was the conception. We've moved a little bit more. It still is that, but we definitely have pushed it more as a YouTube alternative, more about free content. We kind of thought when we were first building it was going to be a little bit more about the ebook style content where you're paying for it. Still does that, but much more of it's become free content. Right.
Okay. Now, so the content isn't on the blockchain. It's on a BitTorrent-like structure. So it's fragmented.
Yep. So the blockchain, it's pointers. It's pointers. So the blockchain is all that. So that means metadata. It's the metadata. So it's like who published it? What's the price? What language is it? If it's a video or audio, how long is it? What's the file size? What's the bit rate? What's the encoding? What's the tags? All these things that metadata are the things that describe the content. They're not the content, right? They're the facts about the content. So the content is the data. It's the video, right? But the metadata is the description.
Okay, so where's the video?
In the peer-to-peer network. It's like BitTorrent.
I got it. It's better.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, yep. So when you click that play button, what your computer is doing is it's talking to the Bitcoin network, the blockchain network, the same way. It's an SP with desktop client I'm talking about. It's an SPV wallet. It goes to the wallet server and says, hey, what is this? Who made it? And the wallet server gives it back. And you know that information is correct, the same properties as your same stuff as Bitcoin. Then inside of that information, there's some other value. Think of it like a hash, if you know what that means, but some key, some special value. And it takes that value and it goes out to the data network and it says, give me the data. And so it's doing both of those in parallel.
Okay. All right. Now, so it's completely decentralized on a peer-to-peer network.
Yes.
You're censorship resistant. But what about stuff that's illegal?
Yeah.
Various jurisdictions, or should be illegal, Should be
yes.
Actually,
so those are
to make it explicit.
It might be distasteful, right? Yeah. Maybe we see
pornography, incitement to violence.
Yeah. So let me. I have to So I want to separate my answer because the way we deal with things that are illegal versus distasteful, or not even distasteful, could also, maybe if that's people are uncomfortable. But things that are not necessarily illegal, but that people don't want to see, right? So let's, because we can all agree that there's stuff that's legal that we don't want to see, that we don't want. Right? So versus there's stuff that's illegal, right? That and illegal stuff we have to deal with no matter what, even if we don't think it should be illegal, right? Right. So let's talk about how we deal with those separately. So, because there are things in both categories, right? So illegal. Let's do illegal stuff first. Mm-hmm. So if something is illegal, so let's take like DMCA complaint type stuff, but it would be the same for other illegal content. You can think of an analogous procedure. We receive the report. We verify it with DMCA. That means you're a registered DMCA agent, but we're registered with other.
No, DMCA.
Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So this is how like most of the like a lot of the takedowns happen on YouTube and stuff. It's DMCA takedowns. It's IP infringement, right? If we're talking about illegal activity when it comes to files on the internet, there's a lot more intellectual property infringement than really, really distasteful illegal things, right? As far as we know, no one's ever done something like that on LBRY. People have committed copyright infringement on LBRY, so I can describe specifically how we deal with that, which is that we validate the request. If it's valid, and the same type of thing with YouTube, there's a whole, they can dispute, but assuming that it's not disputed and it's valid, it goes on a blacklist that we maintain as a company. And then other operators in the network who want to operate legally can obey that blacklist, right? So a library still, all of the servers that LBRY runs, including like LBRY.TV servers, they all respect that blacklist. So we can't remove the content from other people's computers. We can't remove the content from the blockchain, because that's the whole point, right? If we could remove the content from the blockchain, we could reach into your wallet and do all those other things. The whole point of the system is to tie our hands. The point of tying our hands is about building trust, right? It's about building trust, right? Same thing with Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin, we use Bitcoin because we trust it. We don't use Bitcoin because we want to do illegal things. We use Bitcoin because we don't like the idea of someone else having their hand in our wallet. And so we design LBRY the same way. We don't like the idea of someone else having the keys to our creations. We don't want someone to come in and remove them. So that's why we designed LBRY that way. The best thing, once you've designed it that way, the best thing you can do is build a blacklist on top of it. And that's basically what we do on the traditional internet, I would say, right? Like that's what Google maintains a blacklist of sites they're not allowed to return in search results. You'll see it at the bottom, 3 results removed. So same kind of thing. If people are willing to return illegal information, people can operate those servers, people can connect to them. That's the way. Or more specifically, maybe you live in a country where the laws are different. Maybe you don't have to obey United States law, and it might be legal to return those things. And so that's the way we handle the blacklist. Content that might just be, can I move to distasteful? So content that's like distasteful, right? This just stuff like, I don't know, people don't want to see it, and we can all acknowledge most people don't want to see it, but it's not necessarily illegal. So as a company, we're saying that we will, we're only going to work to actually stop the illegal stuff via the blacklist, so people can operate legally. In terms of people having experiences that they like, we're working on building this sort of gray list style system where it's going to be more community controlled, and so content can be flagged and so people might not want something for any kind of reason. It could be some people don't like violent content. Some people don't like content that's completely legal, but it's someone is dancing provocatively, clothed, right? But that's over the line for some people. Some people don't like content with guns in it. Some people don't like content with profanity. Some people don't. Plenty of people, so all these different things. We want to be able to clearly label the stuff and give people controls to let them say, I do not let me see. I mean, some people don't want to even see anything that's Republicans or Democrat, because that's how closed of a sphere they want to have, And so we're not about being edgy. Like that is not our purpose. People are going to use LBRY to do things that are on the edge, and like that's also okay with us. We're not trying to stop them, but our purpose is to give local control. And so that means and our purpose is to build things that people like using. And so that does mean some of the stuff that's removed from YouTube, people don't want to see. I'm not saying that's you. I think people like your content. And but to me, we don't ever delete it. We don't ever stop it from being hosted, but we do give people controls to say, yes, I want to see this. No, I don't want to see that. And we think that's like a way healthier answer and a better solution for everyone than trusting a company or trusting Facebook or YouTube, which have been captured, I think, somewhat by certain social views and just have simply shown they can't be trusted. Why do we want to trust them?
Yeah. Okay. Then, I mean, Google started off with really great noble intentions. Don't be evil.
Yeah.
And now they've become very evil. What's you becoming evil?
So exactly nothing. Right. Well, let me explain. Yeah. Stopping LBRY the company. Nothing. Stopping LBRY the protocol, a lot. And the thing is, nothing is going to stop companies. It's very hard to stop a company from being evil. The biggest thing that's going to stop it is having the company owned by like a small number of people that you actually think truly value the things that you value. And LBRY is kind of that. So, but you never know. Yeah, but the difference is that LBRY is all open, right? When you're using that LBRY desktop client, you can use that and not be dependent on us. There's a chance. Like I would say, if you don't rule out LBRY.TV becoming evil. It's not my intention. As long as I'm working here and as long as I'm the CEO, I don't intend letting it to become that way. But that's not an impossible reality. What's an impossible reality is people ever being tracked. That's what's impossible, because all the code is open anyone can run another instance, anyone else can spin up servers, anyone can use the peer-to-peer network directly, anyone can take their wallet out of LBRY.tv, you have full exit rights, you can leave, you can get out, and you can go someplace else. And so I believe very strongly that like LBRY is designed, and this was our intention in designing it, so that it cannot trap you. I hate being trapped. I hate that feeling. And I built this software and this system to not me actually, other people. I get to do these shows. Other people did most of the work. That is the design. And so that is what makes it different. What LBRY TV, look, that things change no matter what platform you like. If you're a BitChute guy, right? Like BitChute's still a website. You know, if you're a BitTube guy, you know, and I'm not saying that BitTube's the same thing. Like I'm sure BitTube are good people who have no intention of changing. But if they don't have that peer-to-peer client, then like you really can't know. And I don't know. They probably do. I don't know a ton of them, so I'm not trying to like attack anyone. But like that's what I'm saying is that you need to have that. The code needs to be open source, and there need to be peer-to-peer clients. If those two things are there, then even if the company becomes bad, you're still safe. If those two things aren't there, then you kind of are inviting the recreation of YouTube. And I guess one more comment. This is the VC game, the venture capital game. Like this literally is what you put in your pitch deck when you go out and do these things. And it's basically like, I'm gonna build a great service. It's gonna be amazing. I'm effectively gonna subsidize it, right? I'm gonna pay a bunch of money building it. I'm gonna make it ad-free. I'm gonna get everyone using it. And then once I've cornered the market, I'm gonna start acting like a jerk to make more money.
Or sell it to Facebook or Google along their company.
Yes, right. That's the other model. Yes. I'll sell the company and then let them be evil. Yeah, as if it washes you of obligation. Yeah. So this is what goes on. It's the plan. It's not just an accident. Like in a lot of cases, it's literally the plan. It's in their business plans. And so like that's what I'll bring it back to what I said earlier in the show. This is what I was talking about when I said you can trust us because we've handcuffed ourselves. And there's no secret here. There's no there's no trick. The handcuff key isn't hidden. Like you can go and look. Like this is our proposition. It's kind of weird, right? It's like we've sawed our arms off, so we can't punch you. You know, it's like a weird, but that is what we've done. You know.
Yes, a rather vivid metaphor.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Now, then the workings of LBRY. There's a pre-mine that you hold on to. People can watch this video in LBRY and send me LBRY coins.
Yeah.
I can.
So I'll talk. Yeah. So we did a pre-mine. We pre-mined 400 million coins. We have spent 80 million of those over the last 4 years. So pretty judicious, where we spent only a fifth of what we pre-mined because we believe in the network, right? We believe in what we're building. We didn't sell it all at the heights of 2017. We've tried to sell it over time to grow and build the company and to ride, and to be along for sort of the ride of that with everyone else. We're very transparent with how we use it. LBRY.com/credit-reports. So you can see both past usage on a quarter-by-quarter basis as well as predictions of how we'll use it in the future. So we try to be very transparent and respectful. We are exploring things like potentially putting the administration into smart contracts or the equivalent. I have some concerns about that. But I'm definitely open to it. I think our track record's been pretty good in how we use it. And you can, one benefit of this is you can get some right now. I think it's healthier that we give a little bit of the coin to, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of people as they get started. Like that's better than just giving it all to the miners, in my opinion, right? So that's a big part of why we retained it, is to do things like that. And again, we're very transparent with how we use it. So like we've literally allocated it and said, okay, we're going to use this much to bring new people on. We're going to use this much to bring creators on. We're going to use this much to form strategic partnerships. So it's not like we're holding all of it to dump one day. Like we're specifically allocating it to grow the network, which again I think is healthier than the miners aren't going to take they have a selfish interest to dump and move on. We have an interest to really steward this and use the coins in a way to help the company and the technology be successful.
Okay, all right. And then I know you also mentioned it, that some of the pre-mine you use that to bring content.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Let me emphasize. Good cue to emphasize that more because it's really what I should be talking about. You can go and sign up right now, LBRY.tv, and get free stuff from us for watching people like Crypto Rich. And if you're into blockchain creators, I think half of them are on LBRY now. They're all moving over, okay, because they get the problems with YouTube. We have a whole Twitter thread and some other roundup of all of them. You can also just look at the blockchain tag. And so go create an account, get some free stuff from us, escape the land of YouTube. If you're a content creator yourself, you can get even more coins from us. LBRY.com/YouTube is the link for that. And so that's why we're using them, is to do stuff like, to do stuff like this.
Okay. Now, what happens when the pre-mine runs out?
So our intent is to protocolize everything. So, you will pay the price.
Steve and Dave use eToro to trade cryptocurrencies. Steve has a watch list for promising breakout coins. Dave has a watch list too. So why is Dave just as good a trader as Steve? It's because Dave used eToro's copy trader to automatically replicate Steve's trading activity. Whenever Steve makes a trade, Dave does too. Trade like a Steve with eToro, the world's leading social trading platform.